Have you ever driven down an American street and wondered why a medieval-looking cottage sits right next to a sleek glass box? That creepy attic window was engineered to shed snow in 1650. That unusual roof on your neighbor's house? It's a direct copy from Dutch settlers. American homes aren't random. They're a 400-year timeline of climate, technology, and survival. Knowing these styles can help you buy, renovate, or sell smarter. Here is the breakdown of every major home style you'll see across America. Early New England settlers built for survival, not curb appeal. Steep roofs shed heavy snow, and that massive central chimney kept families alive through brutal winters. Timber framing and small windows saved heat. A few still stand in Massachusetts and Connecticut, and they really do look like sets from a witch trial. Which, to be fair, some of them were. Dutch settlers in New York and New Jersey gave us the gambrel roof. That distinctive double slope creating an extra attic floor. If your Northeast or Midwest home looks like a stylish barn, this is why. While the Dutch were building practical barns in the Northeast, Spanish settlers faced the opposite problem. Brutal heat in the South and West. Thick stucco walls and red tile roofs kept homes cool. Pueblo Revival adds flat roofs, exposed vigors, and that unmistakably southwestern earthy aesthetic. While the Spanish fought heat with thick walls, the French had to fight swamps. French settlers raised homes on piers to fight flooding. Wrap-around porches and tall doors caught every breeze. Its European charm meets practical mosquito defense. Georgian is all about order and status, symmetrical facades, refined brickwork, and balanced proportions. It was so influential it invented colonial revival. Authentic examples in historic districts still command premium prices. Then the colonies became a nation, and architecture got more refined. Federal is Georgian's more sophisticated sibling. Elliptical fanlights, slender columns, and delicate swags inspired by ancient Rome. This is a young nation trying to prove it belonged on the world stage. As the young nation found its identity, it looked to ancient democracy for inspirations. Greek revival was bold on purpose. Giant columns and pediments made homes look like temples. It spread everywhere because nothing says power and democracy like pretending to live in the Parthenon. But by the 1840s, America was bored of temples. It wanted drama, then people wanted drama. Gothic Revival brought pointed arches, ornate trim, finials and stained glass, basically a fairy tale in lumber form. Italianate borrowed from Italian villas, tall narrow windows, decorative brackets under wide eaves, and occasional cupolas. It scaled beautifully from mansions to row houses in growing 19th-century cities. The mansard roof, double-slopped with dormers, is the headline. It created extra living space without technically adding a floor. New York and New Orleans loved this Parisian-inspired look. Stick style celebrates the structure. Decorative boards highlight the wooden frame, turning the skeleton into decoration. It paved the way for Victorian excess. Shingle style calmed Victorian energy. Continuous wood shingles smooth every corner and turret. It feels organic and beachy. The architectural equivalent of wearing boat shoes. Queen Anne is maximalism incarnate. Asymmetry, turrets, fish-scale shingles, spindles and paint schemes that look like a crayon box exploded. More detail meant more status. Quick vote before we hit the 20th century. Comment 1 for classic symmetry, Georgian, Federal, or 2 for dramatic detail, Queen Anne, Gothic. Go! While the wealthy played with ornament, most Americans just needed a solid, affordable house. Cape Cod is simple, recognizable, and practical. Compact 1.5-story shape, steep roof, and central chimney. That's why it became suburban America's backbone and keeps coming back in revivals. Mission Revival drew from California's Spanish missions, stucco walls, red tile roofs, and arched openings built perfectly for warm climates. It still dominates the Southwest. Tudor Revival romanticizes medieval England, steep pitches, heavy chimneys, and half-timbering that makes homes look like storybook cottages. You'll see them everywhere in the Northeast and Midwest. Craftsman is comfort and craftsmanship. Low-pitched roofs, wide eaves, exposed rafter tails, and tapered porch columns. It remains one of the most buyer-friendly styles and often commands a premium when well-maintained. Prairie style abandoned ornament for pure form, long horizontal lines designed to blend into the flat Midwest landscape. Original Frank Lloyd Wright homes are basically art you live in, and priced like it. Mediterranean Revival mixed Spanish, Italian, and Moorish influences. In glamorous coastal spots like Miami and Beverly Hills, this style sold a lifestyle of leisure. Art Deco brought geometric boldness. Streamline Moderne made it aerodynamic. Rounded corners and horizontal bands inspired by ocean liners. Even during the Depression, these homes looked like they were speeding into the future. The Depression crushed the ornament. By the 1930s, architects stripped everything back to survive. International style stripped everything back. Flat roofs, open plans, white surfaces, zero ornament. Radical, sometimes cold, but it redefined modern American cities. World War II ended, the middle class exploded, and we needed to build fast and flat. After World War II, America wanted fast, casual living. The ranch delivered, one story, attached garage, sliding glass doors to the patio. It's having a comeback with retirees and accessibility-focused buyers. Split levels solved, sloped lots and efficient room separation. You instantly recognize the stepped layout from the street. Well-renovated ones remain very livable. But some architects wanted to do more than just build fast. They wanted to build beautiful. Mid-century modern turned ranch convenience into art. Massive glass panels, exposed structure, and indoor-outdoor living defined post-war optimism. Thanks to shows like Mad Men, values have soared in Palm Springs and Los Angeles. The A-frame made the roof the walls, steep triangular sides with massive glass fronts. It's still the go-to look for mountain Airbnbs, making it a surprisingly solid investment property. Brutalism rejects charm for honesty. Raw concrete and heavy massing create a fortress feeling. The occasional brutalist home looks like a supervillain's lair. People either love it or hate it. There is no middle ground. By the 1980s, architects were tired of boring boxes. Postmodernism brought back columns and arches, but with irony and humor. Bright colors and weird proportions made these houses look like they were designed with a wink. By the 1990s, irony turned into size, and things got complicated. Then American housing went through a phase where size often took priority over cohesion. McMansions are recognizable by complicated rooflines and mixed stylistic elements. While some have been beautifully updated, many buyers today prefer more unified designs. Resale outcomes vary significantly, depending on updates and location. Today, Modern Farmhouse blends rustic nostalgia with clean minimalism. White siding, black-framed windows, simple symmetry. Barndominiums, converted metal barns, are booming in rural America. We've come full circle, building practical shelters from materials at hand, just like the first colonists. Only now we film it for TikTok. That's the complete evolution of American house styles, from survival shelters to design statements. Now I want to know, what style is your house, and what state are you in? Drop it in the comments if you want to see which styles destroy resale value, and which ones print money. Subscribe to ZH Designs and hit the bell. We've got more coming every week. Thanks for watching.